a year before, the startup, in one of the startup conclave, I heard that one of the eminent speaker was talking about the next wave of growth will be at the junction of technologies, convergence of technology, where different sectors will embrace digital to redefine their business and operation. So what it means is that every sector, every industry is going to adopt thanks to digital. So taking all these technologies, one for their operation, just to get the efficiency, and the second one is for primarily to improve the effectiveness, changing the business model, getting more top line, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all these things, probably, we all, can agree upon, vehemently agree that, technology is the future. It has become the backbone of us life, both as an individual, as a business. And just to see that, the opportunities here, and I just took Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. These three guys today, they are in among the top 5 of the global company, from the value perspective. Okay, so Apple is number 2, Microsoft is 3, and Amazon is 4. Just 15 years before, if you see, none of them were there in top 5, not even top 10, for example. Maybe Microsoft was there in 10th or 11th position due to their legacy revenue and other things. But see how this technology, has changed the way, some of the companies like Apple and Microsoft and Amazon. That is the proof in the pudding, in terms of how this whole technology is changing, in the business. Okay. So I think with this in mind, I'll go. Why we need this technology for meeting our UEF's vision and mission. All of us have heard from our president that 67.5 billion, the economic value addition, that we are talking about, and the president always says this. And when he says this, he'll say that most of you will be thinking it is very hard, but it is not so. But now I want to say that yes, and if you understand the power of technology and the power of digital, definitely, it is achievable, and even beyond 67.5, we can go. Okay. So with that in mind, we formed a small team as a technology committee within UEF, and we want to define our charter. First, we want to define our vision and mission, and in line with what UEF's vision and mission, and so that we can define our scope and operating plan and so on and so forth. And as we speak, we are working on that, both from vision and mission perspective. And we had a couple of discussions in the brainstorming session. At the end, probably we have some 2 or 3 versions, which I have projected here, to be a technology leader for economic enhancement, education, and social development for UEF and society at large. And another version is to support UEF emerge as a formidable and inspirational contributors to the nation and beyond through technology, to make UEF and society leads the world of technology and innovation for economic enhancement, education, and social development. So pretty much similar, but you can see that how we want to leverage the technology for the UEF's vision. And if you see the mission part of it, we are debating on how we want to put that. We want to have a simple version, or we want to give some elaborate bullets. I just took the president's some of the input. So actively support UEF to achieve the EVA of 67.5 billion. Supporting the UEF members and associates reimagine their business with technology. This is a very important part which I want to highlight. As I told you before, this technology evolution can definitely help for our existing members in UEF, both from the operational standpoint as the business model standpoint. We can support them to do reimagining or transforming their business. Okay, and most importantly, supporting the 45 educational institutions, leading maybe 100 times, 4,500 possible startups with technology. Already we have seen some of the things emerging. It's already been happening in Crescent, and we also have started in Miyasi side. So soon, we can initiate these things, in other educational institutions. These are all some of the missions, I think, which has probably, captured most part of what we want to achieve. And hopefully, maybe in a few weeks' time, we should be able to finalize the statement for both vision and mission, with the help of our members and president and others. And I also want to highlight how this technology relevance for our UF's mission, vision and mission, and what's been happening, in the tech startups, in India. And most of you would have seen the latest tech unicorn report 2020. I think Peels have circulated yesterday. That some of the clippings from the press. Essentially, if you see that, a lot of interesting stuff. The Indian startups ecosystem, and it has seen about 106 billion in value creation by 44 unicorns. Some of the famous ones are Make My Trip, Cars24, Zomato's, and Razorpay, and so on and so forth. But interestingly, if you see, the maximum are coming from fintech, followed by SaaS and retail, and then probably the logistics, hotel and travel, and other things. And if you see, from the region perspective, about 40% are coming from Bangalore, followed by Delhi and Mumbai. But unfortunately, we are not seeing Chennai here. And the most interesting part is this, most of these, unicorns, are backed by technology, tech. It is a key differentiating factor of 21st century unicorn than prior era. So it clearly shows, that tech is playing a major role, in terms of bringing the new, the unicorns and the new companies. And another interesting thing is average time to become a unicorn is about 8 years, much reduced compared to what we have seen in the earlier era, thanks to multiple things. One is technology is helping, but more importantly, a lot of the already on in the field of entrepreneurship, field of enterprise, they are starting the new initiatives using the digitals and technology. I mean, that's the reason, they're able to probably reduce the time, to become the unicorn and grow much beyond that. I think this gives a whole list of and the reasons, why. I mean, it is more relevant. Technology is going to play a major role, for UEF's existing member as well as the new startups and the new ideas that are going to come, to meet our 67 billion EVA. And if you see that, I mean, this is not something new to UEF. I mean, I at least I have seen about 9 or 10 of the enterprises. Some of them are startups, some of them are, already in steady state and then growing. And most of it, you would have seen our in our recent World Summit. The one of the thing is that Twin Health. I mean, Twin Health, if you see, very innovative platform. It's a SaaS-based new technology, digital technology platform. They are pioneering, in terms of doing the reverse diabetics and how we can take the health signals and do using IoT and do an artificial intelligence and machine learning to give the better treatment and able to arrest the disease itself. It's a very innovative thing, but technology is playing a major role, the artificial intelligence and the IoT. And Niscare, okay, another e-health platform. I don't want to talk much about that. I think we're going to hear from Nizam Bhai, and I don't want to steal his thunder. And if you see other one from our members, Quick Alert, it's a field operation platform. It is a web and mobile based platform, and essentially they're using the mobile technology and the maps technology, just to bring the best efficiency, in the operational standpoint. And the other one is Baby Amore. This is more of an e-commerce platform, and they are trying to get the newer technologies of integrating, with other major platforms, and as well as scaling their operation. So technology is playing a major role. Other one is Go Water. I think most of the Chennai people would be knowing this, and just to create it's a platform to offer the water service. But it may look very simple, but the way they are doing it, using the digital platform, by using the advanced technology. I mean, this is what I mean. Even if you go and see their information, this is what they are doing. By this, using this technology, they are able to get the best efficiency, and best customer satisfaction. More importantly, if you talk to their customer, they're having so many of the lakhs of customers, within Chennai itself, or within India itself, to do this service. Other one is the Truckgy. This is, I don't know how many of you remember, this was launched in UEF 2015 summit, when we had, late Honorable Chief Minister of JNK, he was, he was opening this. And this is a marketplace for hiring the truck, essentially using the mobile and the map technology. Very innovative ideas. 5 years before itself, this has started. And all of these are examples from UEF, okay? And how technology is playing, in terms of creating and improvising the business. And there are other things like Solu and Coda Technologies. They are the software business, and they are getting into the digital in terms of the multi-tenancy cloud platform model. And Zaruk Boy's Moore Market, it's it is a brick and mortar company there. He is talking about creating an omni-channel e-commerce platform to give the nostalgic experience. Okay, these are all the emerging ventures that are coming. But all those things are talking about the importance of this the technology and the examples from our UEF itself. Okay, so I think we saw why we need technology. We saw what technology is all about, how it is playing in the business. And my last slide is on the action points. In terms of what we want to do. We are just debating and talking about what are the things probably in a short term to medium term that we can do. I have just put those 3 ideas, but I really want to get feedbacks, comments, and from all of you, so that we can improvise and refine this. The first one is we want to have, based on our expertise within Tech Committee, within UEF itself, we want to have a small technology consulting team, to leverage our expertise, among ourselves, so that we can, and we can also partner with some of the external folks to give the consulting and the advisory directional input, for our members, for doing the digital transformation, reimagining the business, what we have put in our mission. So that is one which we want to do that. As we speak, we are in the process of forming this team. The second one is we want to have a solid technology partnership with some of the leading digital technology providers. For example, the cloud providers like Microsoft or Google, or the ERPs and the CRM providers like Salesforce, maybe Zoho, for example. How do we partner with them so that we understand the technology and we can bring the right technology with the right input, to our members as well as others, our community, in terms of doing the, improvising the business or operation or the digital transformation. The last one, very important one, is the how do we enable and support the EIs, educational institutions, to setting up and the operating the tech startups, incubation, and the innovation centers. And all of you know that it's been running well. Crescent, they have been front running, in this initiative. And we recently started with the Miyasi. They are bringing the industry into the campus, and the similar one, we are doing the setup. And like that, another 43 EIs are there. We want to have a plan in terms of taking this model and scaling it to across the other EIs. But these are all some of the action plans that we have put. And so this gives our current member list of who is part of our tech committee. And maybe I'll stop here at this point and maybe open it up for any questions or any comments from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf bhai. Very nice presentation. ஒரு முக்கியமான ஆளை விட்டுட்டியே, ஜஹாங்கீர்.
Oh, Sharif bhai, I think. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I think
Jahangir is, what shall I say? He is really offered. I don't know if I'm seeing his photo. It's not there, right? So he's really agreed to very closely work with us and to mentor and to support and bring his ideas and whatnot.
Yeah.
In fact, Sridhar Vembu itself has been taking inspiration from Jahangir.
Oh,
It's a paradox.
Okay.
They've been in very close contact. Jahangir, of course, came to our summit, and we know the story, right? Of course, Twins is also a UEF. Twins is also a UEF supported tech initiative. 1,000 crore is the valuation today. Second round of funding they've raised from Sequoia. And what do you call it? Sridhar Vembu has been in touch with Jahangir, and Sridhar Vembu has visited Jahangir's house in San Francisco, all after our UEF summit. So there's a little bit of, we are in the particular they're swimming in the same pond. So thanks very much, Yusuf bhai. I'm sure there's a lot of expectation from the tech committee and what we can do from technology and whatnot. So there's just so much to do. I hope we really do, gain some traction when we start moving ahead with this. Sorry, anybody wants to comment on the tech committee? We have a tight timeline, so we don't have too much time for.
Yeah, we really need some input. Yeah, from people. Yeah.
Yeah, just one minute. I mean, first
Yeah.
of all, I would really congratulate the team for putting up such a wonderful presentation, and especially I would say President, the senior management team at UEF, because I mean, as part of our World Summit, we had various streams, and digital was something that we had the thematic session, and it's so really inspiring to see that we have come up with an action just within 2 months' time, and we are saying we've set up this committee to take our actions forward. So that's really very, very powerful to hear, and it's very inspiring. And Yusufbhai, really a well thought presentation. I just had some very, very simple observations. We are talking about EIs, we are talking about tech startups and things, but the fundamental thing for us to really create some value will be is where all over the world across, where the issue is having the right digital skills. When I say digital skills, it is the training and development, the knowledge on the new age digital skills like AI, machine learning, those aspects. And there is still a gap in terms of having the enough resources or talent in these areas. And that's something I think if we come up with a strategy with EIs where we create these talent pool in readiness to help with the technology transformation as such. And the other thing is, I mean, we have a lot of matured businesses within UEF. And when we talk about digital transformation, it should be that, I mean, I think the kind of a myth is when we talk of technology, we think it as an IT company or a tech company. It is not that. Tech is needed for every industry, every sector. And now we need to, I mean, the way of our reimagination that we need to do for our members is how technology can really enable these corporations or these organizations to increase their market share, their revenue, how they need to really utilize the best of the technology that is available to increase their market share or growth prospects so that we could achieve that bigger vision of that 1.5x vision that we have. So those two things, if we could get added to our whole objective, I think then it would be a very powerful committee in terms of delivering and creating value for us. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure. I mean, point taken. Yeah.
Yep. Point well taken.
Right. Yeah.
Yusufbhai, I think all relevant points.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Abdullah.
All relevant points.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, President Saab. It's a great development in UEF organization. It was really exciting to watch the presentation on tech committee. My only suggestion is this committee, should take all the youngsters of UEF, kind of in the form of arranging a meeting with all the young entrepreneurs, so that the young entrepreneurs will get enthused by the tech committee suggestions. And also there are lots of opportunity for entrepreneurship in artificial intelligence and IoT and so on. So these things can be done immediately, can be planned immediately, so that our youngsters will be benefited.
Sure. Very valid input. Yes, sure.
Yep. Kaleem, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dr. Saab, Rehana Madam. Each and every point is being noted, and we will see how we can put it across. The next presentation, basically, before I start, I would rather say that, everything today has become virtual, whether it is business, whether it is education, everything. There was one person who thought, why not we also take care of people virtually? That attitude of care by him has given birth to NISCARE. So with regard to NISCARE, what exactly it is, how it is formed, to share about his journey, I would like to call upon our director. He is also the CEO of NISCARE. Over to you, Nizam Saab, to share the journey of NISCARE.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I audible, Brother Sharif?
Absolutely audible.
Very good evening. Really, it's a pleasure. Our Sharif சொன்ன மாதிரி நிஸ்கேருக்குலாம் வந்து ஒரு கேர் வந்து நம்ம பிரசிடென்ட் அஹ்மத் புகாரி தான். 24 years we are into the educational sector. We started with one engineering college, then later on, by the grace of the Almighty, then we established additional institutions like 2 more engineering colleges, architecture college, nursing college, business schools, and nearly 40,000 alumni have been passed out from MAM group of institutions. Alhamdulillah. அப்புறம் நான் வந்து பிரதர் அஹ்மத் புகாரி வந்து அவருடைய ஒரு இன்ஸ்பைரிங் இதில் தான் சொல்ல முடியும். யூஎஃப்ல என்டர்ட் யூஎஃப் MOU சைன் பண்ணும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி நான் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்பீடாக போயிடுறேன். ஏன்னா மை டீம் இஸ் ஹியர் டு பிரசன்ட் அபவுட் நிஸ்கேர். ஸோ அஹமத் புகாரி சாபோட நான் வந்து யூஎஃப்ல வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன பண்ண போறேன்னு தெரியல, MOU சைன் பண்ணுங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டாரு. இப்ப நானும் ஒரு இதுல ஒரு ரொம்ப ஆசையில சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் பக்கத்துல இருந்து போட்டோ எடுக்கணுங்கிற ஆசையில MOU சைன் பண்ணிட்டு 100 crores சொல்லிட்டு போட்டாச்சு. போட்டதுல இருந்து எனக்கு தூக்கம் இல்லை. ஸோ என்னுடைய ஒரு ட்ரீம்ங்கிறது வந்து frankly speaking in my 50 years, என்னோட ஏஜ் 50னா பிரதர் அஹமத் புகாரியை வந்து பார்த்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் ஐ ஹேவ் பீன் இன்ஸ்பயர்ட் ரியலி. அப்படிதான் ஆரம்பிச்சது. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் இஸ் நிஸ்கேர். அந்த மாதிரி நான் ஐடியாவே இல்லை. நான் இப்போ எங்க போனாலும் எப்படி இந்த ஐடியா உங்களுக்கு வந்துச்சுன்னு கேட்குறாங்க. இட் இஸ் ஃபார் த பாஸ்ட் 4 years we have started developing this Niskare, and now it has come up very well. Inshallah, we will be going globally soon with very tough time for us. 4 years I வந்து struggle பண்ணி இப்போ after the corona and the pandemic அப்புறம் statistics, and we have a thorough research, and it says that 50% of the global will be digitally within 2025. Alhamdulillah. கொஞ்சம் நம்ம அட்வான்ஸா போய் நம்ம இதுல இந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட்டுக்கு வந்ததுக்கு really I should thank the Almighty, and absolutely I will tell that only because of our president Ahmad Buhari. So MAM ல இருந்து ஒரு இந்த ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு வந்து திரும்ப நான் சொல்ல முடியும், எப்பனாலும் சொல்ல முடியும் அஹமத் புகாரி. அதே மாதிரி இப்ப ட்வின்ஸ் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொன்னாங்க, மாலுக்கும் சொல்ல முடியும். மாலுக் இஸ் மை பிரதர். he will also tell that அவர் ஜஹாங்கீரோட ஒரு டை அப் பண்ணி ட்வின்ஸ் பண்ணிக்கு have become very successful. அது ஒரு பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள். நம்ம யூஎஃப்ல இருந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம் அப்படின்னா ஒரு ப்ரூவனா வந்து we can tell that okay, twins is there. Then inshallah we are very sure that within 6 months we will tell that okay, Niskare is there அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. So about Niskare அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது it is a complete healthcare ecosystem what we have developed. அதுக்கு வந்து நான் not only brother Ahmad Buhari plus other directors members யூஎஃப்ல இருந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாருமே நிறைய பேர் எனக்கு they have supported a lot. ஒரு என்கரேஜிங் தான் இல்லையா பண்ணும்போது. ஏன்னா ஒரு புதுசா ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் பண்ணும்போது யார்கிட்ட போய் பேசுறதுனே தெரியாது. இப்போ வந்து அன்னைக்கு பிரதர் அஹமத் புகாரிட்ட நான் வந்து ஒரு 1 year பிஃபோர் அந்த ப்ரொபோசலை கொடுக்கும்போது let us discuss with our directors அப்படின்னு ஓப்பனா he told me. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான சப்போர்ட் வந்து அவர் யூஎஃப் இஸ் வாலண்டரி. ஸோ I take the opportunity to tell that okay, Niskare ஒரு இனிஷியலா ஒரே ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் இருந்தா கூட in the coming years we will go with many projects with the UF's collaboration. And now I would request my team, that is Dr. Mohammadi present here in the meeting.
Assalamu alaikum all the members of the UF, and I am happy to present Niskare, the virtual clinic, a world of health and happiness powered by MAM group of institutions. On behalf of Dr. Mohammed Nizam, our chairman, I am very happy to present before you Niskare, the virtual clinic. Here goes the outline of my presentation. To begin with, about Niskare, followed by mHealth and market drivers, an overview of our product, that is the Niskare mHealth app, the global reach which we intend to do, and the conclusion. Niskare, the virtual clinic. Niskare is a value-based healthcare company connecting all healthcare stakeholders like hospitals, doctors, insurance, and other healthcare service providers. Our vision is to spread health and happiness across the world. Our mission is to make advanced healthcare services accessible to one and all. Our goals are to provide advanced medical assistance and healthcare services at an affordable cost, as well as to expose the clients and the specialists to offer high-class treatment. Our history. Turning back to our history, Niskare is the sister concern of MAM group of educational institutions. The group has 12 educational institutions offering K-12 to doctoral programs. So here goes the list of our educational institutions: 3 engineering colleges and 1 architecture college, a business school, a nursing college, a polytechnic schools, as well as a college of education. To begin with, what is mHealth? Simply speaking, mHealth is to provide healthcare services using the emerging mobile communication as well as the network technologies. So the advantage is to have increased patient engagement, improve health outcomes, and to reduce cost. So when we consider the mHealth market, we could see that from 2018, the global mHealth market size has grown from 34 billions to 293 billions by 2025. So which are the market drivers for NISCARE virtual clinic? We find that there is a growing adoption of smartphones and an increasing penetration of 4G, 5G networks, an extensive support from the government for digital health solutions, an increasing demand for home healthcare services, increasing utilization of connected devices for managing chronic diseases. And also on top of that, we find that there is a rising focus on cost containment as well as patient-centric healthcare in healthcare delivery. Coming to the product, the NISCARE mHealth app. We have two exclusive apps, one mobile app for the use by the patient, corporates, and the educational institutions. The other one is to be used by the doctors, hospitals, and the clinics. Using these apps, NISCARE unleashes full potential of telemedicine. The hospitals go virtual, patients go social, and the treatments go online. So who are the stakeholders for the NISCARE healthcare app? The doctors, clinics, hospitals, educational institutions, corporates, and facilities for treatment abroad, international care, and the wellness treatments. So what are the technology solutions NISCARE app is supposed to provide? And especially for the common user, we have features like online consultations through the three modes, that is the video, audio, and the text. And we have provision for offering special care for women, mother, kids, and the elders. Specific attention is to be given by the top specialists in the healthcare sector. The booking of appointments is now hassle-free for physically visiting the clinics and the hospitals. There is provision for offering home care facilities for the needy, elderly, and the post-operated patients. There is a doctor-patient specialty forum in the app, and also we can offer second opinion for both domestic and the international patients. We have a self-assessment, quick online examination test where we can get guidance from the top doctors. The healthcare tips are offered by informative content in the form of text and video from the experts. NISCARE is a secure place to save all the medical records, and those records can be retrieved from anywhere at any time. We are tied up with accredited hospitals, and also there are free services available in the app. The medical tourism facility could help patients for getting treatment abroad at an affordable cost in the top medical destinations. We also have provision for wellness and the beauty services. And for the doctors, we have NISCARE to be used by doctors who have a single clinic and those clinics which employ multiple doctors, multiple chain of clinics, and also multi-specialty hospitals. So what do the doctors gain by starting with NISCARE? Doctors get larger visibility. They can now enrich their practice digitally. Appointment scheduling is now dynamic. They can reach new patients, and also the best part is they can plan their own consultation hours, and also they can answer questions by the patients and get popular. They can join the doctor forum through which they can connect with their peers across the globe. The health records are now digitally stored, using which easy access is possible to the patient history. No clinical equipment and setup costs are required. The doctors who use our app now can refer patients to other doctors, labs, and the pharmacies. They can extend their services for home care, and also they can manage the revenue with ease. On the other hand, the hospitals and the clinics who get registered with NISCARE can expand their footprint. They now get global branding for their hospitals. Again, digital practicing is possible. Patient appointments is managed very easily now. So NISCARE gives them a complete virtual hospital through which they can maximize their earnings. They can also access the patient's history easily, treat international patients, manage multiple hospitals, reference to the other doctors, labs and pharmacies are possible. They can tie up for home care services, and their doctors can also join the doctor forum. Apart from all these facilities, we also offer home care. That is, we get professional support from the doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, and the labs to cater to the needs of the elderly and disabled patients. Not only the common user can use our NISCARE app, we can also tie up with the corporates and the educational institutions. NISCARE app has provision for giving them an exclusive dashboard and login facilities through which their employees or the students can get all the healthcare services. The most important part of NISCARE is its strength, that it is built on the robust technology platform. It offers unique features like international care, online consultations, medical tourism, and specialty forum, which is not available with most of the competitors. We have a system for easy to retrieve electronic medical records, and NISCARE is poised to give local language support and general compliances as per the country regulations. Now the payments can be made securely and easily in multiple modes, and video consultations offered through NISCARE platform helps patients save their time and are more convenient. Future prospects for the NISCARE app would be to have the medical tourism facility, a hospital management system, and also continuous remote health monitoring facility using wearable devices. Apart from all this, we have plans also to give NISCARE health kiosks to offer multiple functionalities like patient check-in stations at large hospitals, and also they can perform diagnostic tests on patients. So with these interactive kiosks, we can also provide users information like digital maps for directions in large hospitals. So NISCARE app is an international smartphone healthcare app. We plan for a global rollout of the app with special emphasis on countries in GCC, OIC, Africa, and West Asia. On our roadmap, we have plans to integrate chatbot with both voice and text facilities to provide triage advice, medication tracking facility for those patients who have difficulty adhering to prescriptions, a hospital management system for facilitating the clinics and hospitals manage their administration with ease, an exclusive mHealth app for the mother and the child care, wearable technology and IoT integration for remote monitoring of patients, and for the job portal through which the hospitals, the doctors can get their advertisements for vacancies. Apart from all this, we also plan to have a complete telemedicine clinic. To conclude, NISCARE is a revolution in healthcare. Thank you very much for the listening.
Thank you, madam. I think it was a very nice presentation. Any comments from anybody? Please feel free to comment.
Yeah, I can take the lead. I mean, it's really fabulous. I think the whole team should be really proud of themselves, as I told Dr. Nizam earlier during the World Summit. I think when I see this, and here in the UK, we have the likes of Babylon. And when I saw the functionality, I was really blown away to see that it's truly at an international level that the team has built. And definitely, it looks like you all are really organizing this sector, especially in India, where healthcare is so fragmented and affordability is a factor, the way you've done it. So really impressive, I would say. And we're looking forward to see if there's anything we could support from the UK and Europe to NISCARE.
Well, my comment is, what kind of guy is this Nizam? Okay. Sitting in south of Tamil Nadu from some, I won't say remote place, the kind of idea is developed. I think it's something amazing. I really, after hearing this, not only am I impressed, Now look at the youngsters, look at the opportunities there are. How Nizam has gone about this whole venture, and to what extent he has brought it in this all through the digital mode only. It's something like your cab systems that are operating, like the Amazon and other things that are developed. This is an amazing concept. Hats off, Nizam. I really appreciate what you have done. And this will show the way for a lot of us to see, particularly our youngsters, that what kind of opportunity, what kind of windows are there for tomorrow's growth. Really amazing. This is a really amazing. It's an eye-opener. I wish Nizam all the best in this venture, really.
Thank you so much, Ilyas. Thank you, Alhamdulillah.
Hello, one more thing we have to say. I think we are also working with NISCARE for funding support or whatever, if we can work with international investors. I think that's also we are trying. We're working very closely with Nizam Bhai. So hopefully he'll give a chance to UEF to support NISCARE also with the funding arrangements.
Very happy that the president is going all out to support the ventures. Amazing, really. I'm so happy.
Inshallah, I hope something comes up, Ilyas Bhai. Let us see. Inshallah. Okay, go ahead, Kalim.
Yeah, okay.
Back to you.
Yeah, okay. Before I could call the next person, I'm reminded about a quote. There is no place like home. Home is where your heart is. Home is where happiness is. Home is where peace is. A company which works on giving happiness, peace to each and everybody is nobody than the real estate developer. To share what exactly this company has got special, RWD Developers, other than the Managing Director Habib Saab, I would like to call upon Dr. Swaroop to share what RWD is all about. Over to you, Doctor.
Good evening and Assalamu alaikum one and all. I've become very young when I listened to the Qiraat because I studied in Crescent Engineering College. Now it's called B.S. Abdul Rahman University. That is where I did my engineering. So good evening one and all. RWD has been in business, like many of you know, for the last few decades from 2006. We are part of a multi-billion dollar group, Ramki Group. We are there in Visakhapatnam, Warangal, Chennai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. We are completely a professionally led organization. Our core values happen to be innovation, integrity, excellence, teamwork, and commitment. Our group companies, we are present in a lot of fields, starting from Ramki Infrastructure Limited, which is an EPC company. That means it's an engineering, procurement, and construction company. We literally build anything and everything. We have Ramki Enviro Engineers Limited, wherein we manage all kinds of wastes. So if your city is clean, your state is clean, or your country is clean, you would have thanked us at some point of time. Smilax Laboratories is a household name that most of you would have come across. We are specialists in making advanced drugs. And of course, Ramki Estates is our pan-India company that takes care of our real estate development. We are there in the residential, commercial, as well as integrated township space. As far as real estate is concerned, we have explored all the sectors. We are there in the residential field. We do integrated townships. We are there in the commercial space, retail. We do a lot of affordable housing these days. And of course, we are also venturing into farm plots, which is becoming our predominant prima facie focus these days. We've catered to about 3,000 plus happy families and done about 4 million square feet of happy spaces. We've done 25 very, very successful projects completed, which is something most of our contemporaries don't have. We are also the only company who have a 10,000 crore heritage in and around Chennai, only construction and developer company. As far as partnerships are concerned, be it our finance, our construction, project maintenance, our landscaping, our architecture, interiors, or our MEP, which in other words is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. We partner with the best in town, best in country is what we always look at. That has been our management's focus. So these are some of our completed projects in Chennai. And these are our completed projects in other parts of the country. At the moment, let me introduce Project Cornish. It's one of Chennai's most luxurious townships, you can say. It's got about 127 uber luxury apartments. To put it in a nutshell, there's a lot of USPs and key concepts that I can go on talking about Project Cornish. But in a prestigious place like Egmore, Nungambakam, your boat club, or Poyas Garden, if you're looking at buying a 3-bedroom apartment, you cannot get something at this affordable pricing. So a 3-bedroom start at about 2 crores, which is a big USP. You're definitely saving over 1 crore by buying from RWD. Be rest assured you're buying the right project, best project at a killer pricing. In terms of amenities, we've got everything to say we've got Chennai's best project, right from snooker, table tennis to a futsal arena, which is first of its kind. We've got a mini theater, and man, the gym has got a amazing 180-degree view of the hockey stadium and sea on the other side. Over to our next project, Project Grand Corridor. This is about a couple of minutes drive from Apollo Hospital, Vanagaram. The biggest advantage this project possesses, it's bang on the main road. It's on Punamalli High Road, but the green patch you see.
Sarup,
yes, sir.
No sales pitch here. Just go on the project.
Absolutely not, sir.
Hello, pitch பண்ணிட்டு by பாவம் அவர் வேலைய பார்க்கட்ட.
That's not fair. That's not fair. I think you give Sarup the space. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarup, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, uncle. Sure.
Yeah.
So this project is quite close to Apollo Vanagaram, just a couple of minutes drive from there. USP would be we are on the main road, bang on Punamalli High Road, but the green patch you see in the front is going to be the park, the OSR area, which means we are on the main road, yet 300 meters off the main road. In terms of amenities and other facilities, it's going to be top notch. This is one of Chennai's largest quickly selling properties. We, on an average, sell more than 1 unit a day. So we've got about 356 units overall to sell. We've sold out about 50%, and we're going to exit the project in another 5 to 6 months. So each unit is like a villament. There are no wall sharing, and the spec and amenities are going to be top notch. So these are our projects in other cities. Please get in touch with any of us from the management in case you're looking at Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Warangal. This is going to be an integrated township. This township is in Tirumari site, just next to the Tamil Nadu Housing Board integrated township. We've got about 600 odd plots in a 35-acre township, plus 1,000 plus apartments that we have planned for the next phase. So currently, we are launching this project in about 15 days, which also means there is a special price right now, pre-launch price going on. All the more for UEF members, as we had mentioned during the UEF World Summit very, very recently. There's a new bus terminus that's coming up. There's a proposed Tirumalisai metro station. We have a second airport hopefully around the corner. The new tidal park proposed is also about a 10-minute drive from our property. There's an elevated road from Sri Perumthur to Punamalli, and of course the TNHP satellite township that I was mentioning about. Our projects at other cities are as follows. We are looking to grow into Tier 2 cities of Tamil Nadu, and we're looking to construct 5 million square feet of residential township and commercial spaces within the next couple of years, which should be as much as we have done in the last 10 years. So we are on a growth spree and on a complete expansion spree. We would like many of us to partner with us in this journey. We are looking to serve 5,000 plus customers, and as usual, we want to provide quality homes at a very, very affordable price. Yes, let's look at what's in it for all of us. Anybody who want to invest, we are a very honest and straightforward company. Our integrity has been our key. That's the reason we've lasted so many ups and downs in the real estate field. The ROI that we give our investors is quite high, and definitely the capital that goes into RWD is always assured. Please get in touch with Mr. Raja from my team or any of us here. The number is mentioned right below, 99400 Any property of yours you got across Tamil Nadu or across India, please feel free to get in touch with Mr. Paramaya at 9840-889-886. We've got about 300 plus suppliers who've been helping us day in and day out. If in case you want to be one of them, for any of the construction material supply, get in touch with our Vice President Projects, Mr. Ravi Shankar, at 97910-25325. Any employment, any internships, any training, any mentorships that you need for the real estate space, please get in touch with our admin and HR head, Ms. Bhavna Asrani. Get in touch with me, Dr. Swaroop Krishnan. I'm available at 97890-69555 in case you're looking to buy from us or you want to refer. Our management team, as you all know, our chairman and RG director, Mr. W.S. Habib, he's a chemical engineer with decades of industry in the real estate field. From 2006, it's been a very long real estate journey. From 2006, Vavu has become RWD, which is nothing but Ramki and Vavu developers. We have Mr. Nandakishore, who's one of our directors from Ramki Groups, which is the 10,000 crore company that I was talking about. Our business development head is Mr. Paramaya. He's our executive director. And next comes me. I'm the senior vice president, sales, marketing, and CRM. We also have Mr. Ravi Shankar, Mr. A.L. Raja, and Bhavna Asrani, who are the respective heads of the other departments. So thank you so much, one and all. Wishing UEF great success ahead. Thank you so much. I had to rush a little bit because of the limited time. Thank you so much. Over to you, Habib sir. I'm going to stop my speech.
Yeah, Habib sir, would you like to add something on this?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Swaroop. But I didn't want you to give a sales pitch, but no, it's okay. It's good. RWD is one company. I mean, earlier when I first started the company, it was like Vavu Realty Investments. It still continues to go, but we've changed the name as NXG, the next generation, developers. I'll just share. I think 15 minutes is the time given, and we have another 8 minutes. I'll just give a small presentation of what NXG is all about. Can you see the screen, Kalim?
Yes, sir, we can see.
All right. So, yes, we just rebranded this company as NXG. I mean, there's a very clear-cut, shareholder agreement between myself and the Ramki. What we do in RWD is only the multi-story buildings, be it residential or commercial. We don't do any projects below 50 crores. We've actually scaled up to 100 crores now. So there are so many things. Everybody thinks real estate means it's only residential apartments or commercial buildings or hotels. But there is a whole lot of things, different asset classes. Right from the time when you're born in a hospital, it's a real estate. Until, you die, you go to the graveyard, it is also a real estate. So there are a host of things. As you go travel in your journey, you will actually go to schools, malls, hospitals, stadiums, warehouses, farms, everything, religious places, everything part of, real estate. So we are just, in this company, we're just going to touch only, these aspects of real estate. So, these are the areas, we, in this company, we do, niche apartments inside the city. We do villa plots inside the city. What we do, something called as hotspot. I will explain you what it is. Farmland projects, and there are plenty, I require at least 45 minutes for me to explain each one. Office space to retail space to warehouse, student homes, modern schools, planned hospitals, motels, highways, property management, and so on. I'll just like to touch upon only these 4 things. The niche apartments I told you in the city, RW doesn't do because we do only bigger projects. So exclusive projects we try and do. I mean, we are right now we've been doing a few projects in Chennai. Villa plots also we are doing. Hotspots is something which is very interesting. We want the entire landscape of Tamil Nadu is changing. Even these small towns require a good shopping experience. So that is when, we thought about this hotspots. We want to create at least 100 hotspots across Tamil Nadu in the next 2-3 years. It is as small as 20,000 square feet to 25,000 square feet. I'll explain you. Okay, I'll just go by my presentation, sir. I'll explain what is that, because that is the only thing I'm just trying to tell you here. Another one is the farmlands, which is, I'm very close to nature, and, we do a lot of farmhouses. One important project is Ibis County in Vedantangal, which is earlier called as Ecopolis. It's a 150-acre property. It's too good. I think, we're going to relaunch this project. I would actually, request everyone from UEF, in fact, we can even have a nice get-together meeting in this particular project. It is a very inspiring one. We have something called as a Coconut Haven in ECR, and one more we're going to launch in Riddles, which was the first property I bought. We're converting that into a farm property. So this is the Ibis County, all the actual pictures of the Ibis County in Vedantangal. This is a Coconut Haven project in ECR, 20 acres. We almost sold, just few is left. So as I said, we want to venture into, co-working spaces. This is the in thing today. We will not do big, but, we will only scale up to 50,000 square feet, small, nice, quality buildings. We want to do retail stores in high markets. We want to venture into hotel and, of course, into property management. Now, our ongoing projects is, this is one in Alwapet. We're doing in the T Nagar. We're having a villa plots in Punamali. The future plans, as I told you, the landscape of smaller towns are completely changing, and we have a very big dream for everybody. We want to leverage this growth, and the bigger one, what we called as Valarpuram. Earlier, if you see real estate, it's all very unorganized, and on the left hand side picture you see is what you see is real estate. Normally they just put some plots and they just sell it. There won't be any proper roads or lights or whatever. We're just trying to confirm that, and we want to do this project called Valarpuram across Tamil Nadu in all the small towns in a class way. So, and the next one is the hotspot, what I was telling. The first one we're doing in Kailpatnam, my hometown. It's only about 15,000 square feet, where you have a good mixture of these days. I think getting a maid for a home, for a cook for home, it's really difficult, and everybody is busy. Everybody wants a good experience. I mean, in the city people enjoy it, but in the outside, in the small towns, people don't enjoy. So that is when we thought there's a good space, and we are creating one. Next month, I think we're opening this in Kailpatnam. So similarly, we want to target first all the Muslim towns in Tamil Nadu. So any of you have lands in these places, Adirampatnam, Ambur. We already even Kelakare we want to do. Batlagund, we already taken a property. Recently, I was in Kodaikanal. I mean, there's not good restaurants to be there. I mean, so the ample scope is there. So we are actually looking at. So what we decided in this meeting is, it is not about what we are doing, but how we partner with people, and so we are looking at any land above 50 cents on a joint development, or if you want to, say I don't want to be a partner, you want to give it on lease, we are ready to do it, or even outright, we are ready to buy all these properties in these places. With just 50 cents and above, we will create this one a good business model. So I'd like to have more questions on that, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Fantastic presentation. Yes, any questions, please? Any comments?
Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh here, Habib Kaka. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Question enna, so as a real estate veteran, you must have seen so many patterns for a particular sustained time, like a decade or so. We saw developers going to ITACs and OMR kind of developments, after the .com thing. Then when they got to know there is a lot of dispensable income, they started building malls for shopping and stuff. Where do you see one big pattern for the next decade or maybe 2 decades?
No, I think last 4-5 years things were a bit slow. So I think real estate is the next big thing. I don't know. I think if you can just Google research, because not be a biased one because I'm into real estate, but I think I'm in Dubai now. I see when I see this, that's how I actually went to real estate. 20 years back, I was doing gem business going around, and I saw what our country is all about. And today we've changed the entire residential living spaces completely. We commercial also, we have graded buildings. There are so many things have to completely change. So I really bet there is a lot of option for me to do many things, but then I firmly believe real estate is the next big wave, and the next 10 years is going to be it's going to be great in India. And if you only invest in the right if you're going to put your money in the right corridors of the growth, I think be it if you want to buy a plot, if you need to put it where the growth is, you want to buy a residential, it's all where you actually put. So overall, I think it's going to be great, and I hope that is the question you asked. Sheikh?
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you answered.
Anybody else would like to ask some question?
Yes, please. As usual, I had some very happy by as usual class sophistication. I saw that during the event. You're a man of class. That's something that cannot be denied. So fabulous, and I think your team also has really a wonderful job in terms of establishing the brand, the services, and everything. So that's quite evident. One practical thing which I just wanted to share. What I've seen currently within the the millennials, especially if you see now we have the millennial generation. Now affordability has become a big issue in terms of owning a home, especially with the mindset changing and the way their lifestyles are, the way their things are, how they see work, how they see family and things. And I'm sure India is also catching up on those changing dimensions of the millennials. So on that front, I mean, I've seen you always as someone who is much ahead of the game. And this is something I just wanted to share my experience, especially here in the UK, buying a house or the affordability, the millennial way of living that's changing. And that I have seen glimpses of it in cities like Mumbai, Delhi and Bangalore. Chennai hasn't yet caught up on it. So do you think with your vision of the next gen homes, you could come up with something on these aspects so that the affordability and the smart home concept is workable for everyone who aspires to own a home?
Yes, certainly. I think, I mean, everybody aspires to own a home, and that is where we are there. And, affordable homes is what we are coming in a very big way. But unfortunately, the land prices, in nobody's control. So that is the big killer. We definitely want to give a home in Chennai at 25 lakhs, but it is next to impossible, because the infrastructure is not that great. So, you will have to stretch to 40-50 lakhs. But yes, but the millennials, they until a few years back, they were wanting not to own a home. They just want to shift places. But I think after this pandemic, the things have changed. Now the importance of home is being felt. So I think, the millennial thing of not to buying home, not to buy the car or whatever, I think it is changed. I don't know about car, but at least home, they are interested to do it. So yes, I think our PM mission is also housing for all by the year 2023, and we are working towards it. Definitely, as per the demand, nearly about 2 crore homes still required in India, and we are catering. And definitely, I think all the homes today addresses the millennial issues. The young generation is all smart home. The house is going to be powered with electric vehicles going to come. So it is what we do is a future general home is what we're doing. So we are definitely addressing there. But then the cost, yes, we are trying our best to keep it low. It should be possible. So thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
It's Yasser from Senmark Agronomics. So we are into irrigation. I think we met in Ecopolis
Yeah, you
4
are
years
supplied
back.
as irrigation. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fantastic project there. But my suggestion actually, in Chennai, my brother, he is doing My Harvest. They are just procuring from Dindivanam, Madurantham, the products they are procuring from the farmers directly, and they are supplying to all the city stars and homes over there in the Chennai. It is myharvest.com. You can surf in the net. If Ecopolis, if you can utilize them, that would be a better option for you. My suggestion, I'm just telling you.
Fantastic. Yes. We will definitely partner. My whole idea of doing, the entire pitch is
That we discussed a lot. It was a fantastic concept because I don't know why this much time it takes. I don't know. You told that we are going to recreate.
Yeah. No, I think there is a time for everything, and I think we are relaunching it, and that's going to be. We are now talking about instead of work from home, work from farms. That is the concept. We are trying to do. Be with nature and like that. So that's going to be a very inspiring project. Yes, we can definitely partner with you. Please be in touch with us.
Right. Sure. Okay.
Islam.
Okay, then. If no question, then we will move on to the next presentation. Yeah. Okay. The final one, last but not the least, is basically the educational institute. In fact, the team UF visited them last week, and what a hospitality extended. In fact, the products that they were showing, we were inspired, amazed. Youth magic glove is something that they said, or they had wonderful projects. To share more about it, I would like to call upon Mr. Amjad or Mr. Yusuf from C. Abdul Hakim College to share what their educational institute is all about. Please, over to you, Mr. Amjad.
Assalamu alaikum to all UF members and the participants. My name is Syed Amjad, and we have a team from our college. Actually, we made a small presentation on this discussion. I would request Kalimullah Sharif or Hashim Fawzan, before we go into the recorded video. It's our educational engineering institution. It's a 2-decade-old one. It's a 11 minutes clip which is going to be played now. I would request who is going to play this. We can skip, you can fast forward, and directly we can get into the projects, because most of the people here are with a business background. They may be interested in those projects which has good potential for commercialization. Particularly, I would like to name few, that Wonder Women glove and biocomposites based on horn fiber. It has very good potential for clutch lining and brake lining. Few projects on machine learning, which has good potential for know-how, future know-how. I would like to take Kalimullah Sharif sir, who is going to play.
We will show the presentation. Video.
I would request you to maybe to start there, and at the beginning maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Then you can fast forward to the that project part.
Sure.
Sorry, Kaleem. Sorry, Kaleem.
Yes, sir.
Kaleem. Yeah. I think if they present about the institution, it will be better. We'll come to the projects later.
Yes,
we want to hear more about C. Abdul Hakim, as an institution.
Then
what are the divisions and all that?
Yeah, sir. Sorry. I thought I would like to skip the institution part, since then we can play.
Sorry, we want to know, if you don't mind, because we really want to learn more about the institution.
Okay, sir. Then we can play the
projects. Will come to later. So if you don't mind, please.
Sure. No problem.
Please.
Sure. Then you can play the full CD.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Respected President of United Economic Forum, Mr. Ahmad Buhari Sahib, the members, dignitaries, and official members of United Economic Forum, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Syed Amjad Ahmad. a faculty member of C. Abdul Hakim College of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. This presentation is intended to provide a brief description of different development activities at C. Abdul Hakim College of Engineering and Technology. This would be the theme of today's discussion, and we'll be discussing on these aspects with an emphasis on innovation, incubation, and startups. The college was started in 1998 by a century-old renowned educational society, Melvishara Muslim Educational Society, generally referred as MMES. MMES was founded in 1918 by a great philanthropist, Nawab C. Abdul Hakim Sahib. Since the inception of the college, our chairman, Dr. S. Ziauddin Ahmad Sahib, our correspondent, Dr. V.M. Abdul Latif Sahib, and the management is keen and give importance to provide quality education. With that in perspective, we developed state-of-art facilities, laboratories, computing facility, library, and we have dedicated blocks, dedicated buildings for each program offered by our college, catering to the requirements of curriculum, co-curriculum, and extracurriculum. A glimpse of infrastructure available in our college. After 2 decades of our existence, where do we stand now among the committee of the technical institutes in our region? As of today, we offer 10 programs that include 7 UG programs and 3 PG programs. From the beginning, we are maintaining the quality as a certification, as an authentication. We have been accredited by National Board of Accreditation. Almost all the programs are accredited, and few programs are accredited 3 times. And the institute itself is accredited by NAC with an A grade. Also, we are a member of Institutions Innovation Council, Ministry of Education. We have collaborations with academia and industries, both nationally and globally. Our management very well acknowledge the changes in the technologies by time to keep the students and faculty members updated. Both students and faculty members are encouraged and financially supported by the management to regularly participate in national and international level competitions like SAE Baha, Smart India Hackathons, international conferences, reputed conferences like IEEE, project competitions, and to our pride, our students have won many awards and prizes. We have active.
Hello. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
R&D centers in the areas of biocomposites, nanolubricants, microfluidics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and multiphase. Our faculty members and students do involve themselves in R&D, consultancy work, and product development. As an outcome, our students exclusively have presented their work in various competitions, and approximately more than 300 technical papers are presented by our students. Faculty members publish their work in various journals, recognized reputed journals, global journals, and approximately more than 100 journals publications have been published by our faculty members. In addition, our faculty members involved in consultancy work. We do consultancy work for different organizations, both public sector, private sector, and government agencies. Further, these activities have resulted in many products that have great potential for commercialization. We in our college have identified few products that are being nurtured to be a product. And as of now, we have 5 products that are in nurturing stage, and few more products or the ideas that are in the proof of concept stage. To substantiate our developments and happenings in our campus, a short video clip is here presented here. This is a competition by Society of Automotive Engineers. It is a global society, and this society conducts a national level SAE Baha competition in Pune every year. And for the past 8 years, our college students participate in this competition. And we design, we fabricate, we test these equipments, these machines, these vehicles, and we participate. And we are very proud to say, that these competitions are being participated by only very elite institutes in India, in our country. This we consider it's an hallmark for our college. This is another product which is developed for the mobility of aged persons. It is based on a battery. This is again designed and fabricated in our campus by our students and faculty members. This, as of now, this is being imported from European countries, and we have made it very simple one, and it's very effective for the aged people, for their mobility. And we see that it is made at a fraction of the price that may be purchased in the international market. Another product by the ECE people, electronics people, we call it as a lake cleaner or lake launderer. More than a lake cleaner, we feel that this can be a very good product for the cleaning of the froth in effluent treatment, because in our region we have leather industries which generates effluent, and we need to treat that, and this may be a very great product for the effluent treatment, removal of the froth. Another product developed by the ECE people is the string hopping machine. It is actually can be called as a 3D printing machine, but we have made it very simple to make the vermicelli. We call that idiyappam. It is an automated process. This is another project by the IT department. We named it as Wonder Women Glove. This safeguards the modesty of a woman and protects herself from any sexual assault or harassment. On such an occasion, this lady can operate this kit, and it will give a shock to the attacker and also send a message to the nearby police station. Message, I am in danger, will be sent to a nearby police station. Another project by the IEEE department, it's an e-bike that runs on electrical battery. And this project was demonstrated in a national level competition, and our students won a prize for their acceleration exclusively on a battery. Like I said, our students have participated in various competitions, and we have won many prizes to the tune of 1 lakh rupees. And it is continuous development and participation in various competitions. The project that are being displayed are few, and the list is there, quite long. And this project is very interesting project. It is an environmental friendly project. This is a composite made from a animal horn fiber. And after mechanical property verification, we found that the mechanical properties of this composite is almost similar to an asbestos, and it can be a very good replacement for the present asbestos applications. Considering the pace at which the world is changing, and everybody acknowledges that we are moving into Industry 4.0 revolution or techno revolution, where new technologies are coming into action. The college is into it, and we are doing many projects in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, IoT, robotics, microfluidics, nanolubricants, and in collaboration with various universities and organizations like International Islamic University, Malaysia, Xiamen University, Malaysia, King Khalid University, UTP, and in our college, different projects like nanolubricants, tunnel effluent treatment, wastewater treatment, microfluidics, solar photovoltaics, and pattern recognition. Finally, we understand, Alhamdulillah, though we are satisfactorily developed expertise in R&D, product development, which has resulted in many publications, many products, and research outcomes. We felt, particularly after our visit to CIIC and with interactions with officials of UEF, United Economic Forum, we need to develop enterprising skills, enterprising attitude, and enterprising approach. On this, we would be grateful if our fraternal organizations like United Economic Forum, B.S. Abdul Rahman University, and Crescent Innovation Incubation Council lend support, guidance towards a successful march into the future. Thank you very much.
Nicely done. And if I might just add, because I hope you were there earlier when I was speaking, Mr. Sridhar Vembu was discussing exactly the same thing you are doing right now. He has suggested that the R&D should go into products which are going to be massive import substitution. And that is where we should be doing our R&D, which will be market ready, so that customers are, there'll be a large pool of customers. And what Mr. Sridhar Vembu has offered is that that he will also come and speak to our UEF affiliated education institutions. Inshallah, C. Abdul Hakim is also very much part of it. And also Miyasi and Rahman and all these institutions. So we will also have people like Mr. Sridhar Vembu give us ideas on how we can improve our R&D efforts so that it goes into the market.
Sure.
Inshallah. So that's what we are trying to do.
Thank you, sir.
Use joint efforts. We need to just sort of hold each other's hands and see how create the value.
Any other question from anybody else?
Sorry, I have a question for the team. I'm just sorry, Bella. So you all went to CIC. What is your impression? What did you think?
Yes, sir. Like I said, we have been doing this all R&D work. Like you suggested that it needs to have an enterprising approach that needs to be commercialized. That is what we felt after visiting the CIIC, is that needs to be developed from our side. This skill where we can make it this R&D into a commercial product, that we need to develop that skill. And that is what we felt after visiting that CIIC.
Yeah. Anybody else who would like to ask question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, sir.
Clear now?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So that's what. So I was saying, like I was saying earlier, all the R&D has to be very, very market driven. It has to be customer requirement worked backwards. So if a product is being made, if let's say there is 10,000 crores worth of import of one particular material, 10,000 crore worth of material is being imported, can we develop a product which will help to substitute this import? Like for example, can we make products for 100 crores, out of a 10,000 crore market? Are we able to get a market share of 100 crores, 500 crores, or whatever, So that is like a market working backward from the market. And this is exactly what Mr. Sridhar Vembu was also mentioning. We will keep discussing on this more, and so we will see how best to work with each other to support, to create more value for each other. Sorry, any more questions? I think Kaleem, go ahead. I'll pass back here.
Yeah. If any questions, then we can, ask. Please do share your questions, if any. Not only with regard to this, in fact, earlier also, please.
Sheikh here, I have a small question specifically in line with what President said to the college professors. The electric bike that you showed, is it like the award is for battery or for the whole product? The award that you mentioned.
Dr. Amjad, please clarify on this. Dr. Sadiq Sir, please clarify on this.
Get my question? Or?
Can you repeat the question? I think they had some issue, Sheikh Bhai.
Okay, so the electric bike that you showed in your presentation, and you said you got some award. Is it for the battery or is it for the whole product itself?
It's for
And how and what is the gap between what you have done and the market?
Actually, yeah, there are some different team. They have, got the award. One of them is for acceleration, and another is anti-theft system. They have like IoT kind of system in that, and they have integrated that too. And one more item was integrated into that. So it is a couple of a bunch of different ideas, like 3 to 4 ideas, which was integrated into the e-bike, and for each of these ideas, they have won the prizes. It's like 10,000, yeah, 15,000.
What is the gap between your prototype and the actual product people want to drive on the road? Is it like ready or?
I don't understand, sir. What do you mean by gap?
No, is there a gap between what your prototype and the actual electric bike that's on the road?
Generally, there is for battery-based vehicles, there is a problem with acceleration. It takes time to get accelerated. So we demonstrated that it has a better acceleration than the existing e-vehicles. So on that was one criteria parameter to evaluate, and we had a better acceleration. They based on the IoT some concept, they were able to have a better acceleration. So that was one parameter.
Amjad bhai, can I add few things for this question?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, actually, sir, to your specific question, I'd like to answer. They have developed the electronics and the stuff, but they are lacking on the structural part of it.
No.
The fabrication part of it.
No.
Needs to be done. Is it okay or?
No, sir. Actually, we are not. The structure is for us. The technology, as far as the structure is, that is irrelevant. The main issue is the present problem with the e-vehicles is an acceleration. How long it takes to get it into the speed which is required speed. So we demonstrated that it has a better than the existing e-vehicles. That's what I feel the question is by Mr. Sheikh Abdul.
No, I think it's
that the structural part. The structural part is, I think we can
Yeah.
talk about the structure as
Got it. Okay.
Like.
Yes. Is there any else other question?
I just wanted to mention one thing in, relating to what Ahmad said. I wanted to give an example of that import tuition related to the fishing industry. It's a very important point because, as I told, out of the total 50,000 crores of export of marine products from India, about 70% to 75% is from aquaculture shrimps. So aquaculture earlier was the shrimp feed component, which is about 60% of the cost. That was all being imported earlier till about 7-8 years back. So the industry very consciously, we let that drive and got all that shrimp feed manufactured in India. Today, there is no shrimp feed being imported from, and the raw material for that is all from India, from the trash fish and other fish, and all that fish meal is made out of that. And then a lot of industries have come up manufacturing shrimp feed and then fish meal and all that kind of thing. So, and total import substitution, nothing is not being imported anymore at all. Okay, so you're talking about something like. You see out of 35, almost 20,000, that's now a 20,000 crore industry in India, shrimp feed. So this, what Wembu spoke about and now what our president also spoke about is a very relevant point. And on these, again, there are a lot of opportunities in India, not only in the IT, in other fields also, there is tremendous amount of scope on this. Yeah. I wanted to just make this point. It happened in our sector. That's why I'm telling this. Yeah.
Anybody had any suggestions on how this session went? Any ideas?
I had just made a point, Ahmad, when you're not there. I think we're talking about import substitution, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I was talking about an example in our sector, fisheries sector, which is a 50,000 crore industry, and 70% of it is aquaculture shrimp. Okay. Now, for this aquaculture shrimp, 50% of the cost is shrimp feed, which was being imported till about 7-8 years back. Okay. During this 7-8 years back, we have the shrimp feed had started being made in India itself. We gave such a push to it. Not only shrimp feed has been made out of fish meal is the main component. So that industry again came up from trash fish and all that kind of thing. So the entire 20,000 crore industry, there's no more imports. It's all Indian made now. Totally. So that was I was giving, when you're talking about import substitution, that's what came to my mind. And very consciously we have done that. And the lot of employment has been created in the industry, all whatever happens in that industry. Everything now only in India, made in India. That is one example of import substitution.
No, absolutely, no doubt, Ilyas bhai. I think it's just the mindset, to get it done, and which one has the potential. I think that's what Sridhar was continuously emphasizing, and he wants to come and share his thoughts on what we can do. What are the type of products we can do, so that's what he wants to come and speak to us. So he's agreed to come and speak to UEF members, EI institutions and all that, so we should organize an event soon with him. Sorry, anybody, any other comments? Dr. Ablas?
President sir, actually, I wanted to make a comment on, kind of entrepreneurship competition program is going on in our area, particularly in the Kongu Engineering College. Our CA used to organize one event called Entrepreneur Mania, wherein many of the engineering college students participate and then present their innovations, ideas, and people will be getting awards. The outstanding innovative ideas will be getting awards. This is a thing going on for several years. Sometimes I used to sit with them as the judge also. So I have, when I saw the people projecting from Abdul Hakim College ideas of bikes, electronic bikes, and other things, the chair and all for the aged people, I think this can be definitely, brought into the society, and then it can be promoted, and also they can participate in this kind of programs, so that people will come to know that our educational institutions are, really working on great ideas and also fulfill the needs of the society. As our president was saying, the import value is very, very important, so that we can produce many things domestically, and definitely these things can be definitely helpful for the younger generation. So having made that comment, I believe that this today's event was a wonderful one, with lots of ideas, starting from Tech Committee, RWD, and then NISCAR, and Abdul Hakim College of Engineering. We had learned so many things. I should tell that it was a kind of new learning for many of us, including myself. And we had a great evening today. All the credit goes to the team, UEF, and our president, who is spearheading this kind of activities in UEF. So I thank all the presenters who have done extremely well. And I also thank the participants who had given a very patient listening and also very, very impressive comments and suggestions. Thank you, President, and thank you, UEF team.